Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the Happy Takeout box. I think it is so super cute. It's definitely very proud of it. I think it turned out amazing. So, nice boxy shape, got the handle, my little chopsticks here, and I have kind of just fake noodles shoved inside. And of course you can, if you want to, take like a band and slip stitch these closed, so it gives the kind of illusion of the tall, or how they're closed, I guess. Bring the handle up. Super cute. I love it. So awesome. Hope you think so too. Pull my noodles out. Put my chopsticks back in. So, I just think it's awesome. I'm gushing over it. Woo. So, band-wise, it takes 314 white, so it is kind of band heavy for the main box part. And then the handle is 30 gray, or whatever color you want. And then the eyes are it's either 7mm pony beads or one band for each eye, and then you'll need the mouth and the cheek bands. For the chopsticks, I just did, well, these are cheap bands, I should say. They are really stretchy, and I did 2 bands, 15 long, so each one was 30 bands. But I did these ones, which are the, what am I use for this one? They're the Rainbow Loom Gold Jelly, and I think that this was just one double band, 15 long, and they turned out good size too. So you kind of have to depend on the bands that you're using. So it could be either 60 if you have skinny bands, or just 30 for both of the chopsticks if you want them. I didn't really count the noodles. I just took a bunch of bands, slip stitched them together with some added little peas and carrots. Just shove them in there like that. I love it. I hope you do too. Super cute. So we will get started. We'll make the handle first, just so we have it, along with the eyes and the cheek bands, and then we'll start looming the rest of it. The flaps of the takeout box we will do as we get to them. They'll kind of be the last thing, so we'll just make sure to save room on the loom to make those. And then other than that, I'll go through the chopsticks at the end to show how to make those. So we shall start with first the eyes and the cheeks. You can either use the 7mm pony beads or whatever beads you like, and then if you can use a wrapped eye band if you don't have any beads as well. So what you're going to do if you want a beaded eye band is you're going to find a piece of craft wire, anything you can get into a V shape, so like floss, fishing line, twist tie, things like that. And you're going to take 2 bands, the color of your box, put them into the V, close it up, and thread them through the center of your bead, like that. So that'd be a beaded eye band. You would need 2 of them. If you don't want or don't have the beads, then you can do a wrapped eye band, which is 1 band, whatever color you want your eye to be, on the hook, wrap it around into a figure 8, grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands the color of your takeout box. Like that. So you need 2 of those for the eyes if you do the wrapped bands. And the cheeks are made the same way as the eyes, so it's 1 band on the hook, wrap it around to that figure 8, grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands the color of your box through the center. And then you would need 2 of those as well. I'm going with kind of girly colors this time. And then for the handle, it is 30 bands, whatever color you want them to be. I'm still going to use gray this time. I'm going to also use my latch hook to make them, just because I can seem to make them a little bit straighter when I do it that way. You can still use the rainbow loom hook, it's the same thing, just Have to do a little bit more maneuvering the bands around the edge. So it's just a doubled band, or 30 doubled bands. So take a band, put it on your hook, wrap it around one time, and then you're actually going to wrap these around one more time. So that'd be our cap band. And take another band, put it on the hook, wrap it around one time, and then pull it through your cap band. And then put both ends on the hook. And try and center it as you go, just because it's easier if everything's all straight, or you don't have to fix it later. So that's 2. So we need to go to 30. But the same way, just take a band, wrap it around on your hook once, and then pull it through. So 3. 4. 5. And I'll fast forward here at any time. And 30. So when you get to the end of your chain here, you can just take it and you can set it on the pin here on the very bottom by the red arrow side. And we'll use that later, but just so it's out of the way of what we need it for. Alright, so on the loom we're going to be using 12 pins. We kind of want to stay as close as we can down to one end. We are not expanding beyond that, so I'm going to start kind of right down at the bottom here. So what we're going to do first is drop some bands in the corners. How do you like that? Oh, that's a sign. So 2 bands, I'm going to put them across from each other right here. We're on the wrong end of the loom, like that. Then we're going to go up 4 pins from here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to drop 2 more bands on that pin, so they're 5 pins apart, I guess, and then 2 bands right across from it. So like that to start with. Now we're going to do the center. And what that's going to be is from these 2 pins right here, we're going to kind of go into kind of half fan shapes on both ends. So starting from this pin, which is the 4th pin up, if you're following where I'm going, we're going to go down and to the left, and then just go around on these pins. So a long stretch here. Long stretch up past 2 pins, long stretch to the right, and then straight across, like that. Then we're going to do the same thing down on this end, basically the same way. So 2 bands starting from this center pin out to the outside, and then go to the pins around. Like that. So now 2 bands for the center cap band. I'm going to put it on the top band up here. Wrap it around 2 or 3 times. If you, as we loom this, if it gets too tight, just take it back and just do this twice. 'Cause I know the cap band breaking when we do the designs like this is an issue. Using a jelly band, no matter what kind of, like if I use the white opaque bands, glow in the dark, then I would still use a jelly band if I had it to close the center, just because they don't seem to break as often or as easy as the opaque bands do. So now we have this, and what we're going to do is go in through the cap band and loom out the 6 bands around. Let's go in through, make sure you get through the entire cap band. Grab the top 2 bands and pull them back towards themselves, and do that all the way around. It is a bit of a stretch to the top pin, but just get them up there. So like that. Then what we're going to do is puff these corners out. So grab those bands we dropped, go in through the bands around this pin, hook those dropped bands, pull them up like you're going to loom them, put both ends on the hook, take the bands off the pin, and then what's on your hook goes back onto the pin. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Pull them up on the hook, and then on the pin. Like that. So now what we need to do is we need to get our cap band down to here, and this is where some people have been having issue with the stretching this all the way down. It just is, it's tight. I would suggest first going in through here, grabbing the cap band and just pulling it towards you. That will help loosen it up, and you might even be able to get it all the way down to where you need it. But if it still feels really tight, before you undo all this and loosen up your cap band, grab these bands that are on this pin up here, just let them come down to this pin right here. Now you should be able to grab your cap band, make sure you get it up over the pin before you start pulling it, and then just pull it down to the next one. Get this cap band on the other side of the pin. So kind of get it like this, and then it should help with the tightness that we have. We just have to make sure to put this band back up to the pin when we're done. So go in through our cap band, grab the rest of the bands in here and loom them out, just like we did on the other end. Like that. Then we can puff out these ends down here. So the same thing, grab those drop bands and go in and hook them, pull them up, and then put them on the pin. I usually don't work this far down on the loom, so it's kind of awkward for me right now. Same thing on the other side. So now it looks like this. If you move this band up here, you need to stretch it back up to the pin. It would help to move the cap band back on the other side of that pin as well. Sorry about that. So now thankfully we can get the next row on, and then this will all loosen up substantially. So now we're going to take 2 bands, and starting at the bottom, we'll go all the way around. So just like this. So like that. Now you're going to flip over the bottom 4 bands all the way around. The sides aren't too bad. The ends will be tight, so kind of be careful, otherwise you end up pulling the other bands off the pins. So I pull this over because I can't get it pulled very far away. I'm probably going to knock some bands off. Luckily not this time. But there's still this corner pin that always gives me trouble. It's been giving me trouble lately. I just keep flipping the bottom 4 bands all the way around. So that should have loosened up a lot of the tension for you. So now what we're going to do is we are again going to puff the corners. I didn't drop the bands because I don't think it was super hard to pull up bands when it's only 4 of them. So you want to take 2 bands, and then on these same 4 corners where we dropped bands before, we're going to pull up 2 bands. So go in through the bands on that pin, grab 2 bands, pull them up and put both ends on the hook, and then puff it just like we did before. Just on the 4 corners, or what I'm calling the corners. Like that. So these 4 corners we just puffed. Now we're going to do a row around. So 2 bands all the way around. Like that, and then flip over the bottom 4. Like so. Push your bands down. Then we'll want to do another row all the way around with 2 bands. Like that. Flip over the bottom 4. And like that. Now we're going to put on the mouth. So whatever color you want for the mouth, take a band. I'm going to use the right side as the face. You can take a band, put it on your hook, wrap it around 1 time into a figure 8. Then you'll want to find the middle pin, grab those bands on that pin, pull them up, slide your mouth band down, and then put the bands back onto the pin. Like that. So now this row is going to be our cheek row. So I'm going to start down here first. There'll be 2 bands, like normal. And then this spot right here on either side of the mouth is where we're going to put our cheeks. Just get them stretched on there. And then 2 bands all the way around like before. Like this, and flip over the bottom 4. Let's see. By the way, these are the electric glow bands from Rainbow Loom, the purple ones, obviously. Just thought I'd try something a little different, but it's still glow in the dark, so that's awesome. Although they're not super bright, but they glow. Like so. And now that we're at this point, we can probably let these bands come up a little bit over the top of the pins here in the center. Uncatch the cat band. Like that. Just make sure all your bands are pushed back down. This next row is going to be our eye row. So again, 2 bands normal right here. And then we're going to put our eyes on. Oops. Slippery, I guess. Make sure you get both of them on there. And then just take 2 bands and go up 1, because this row we're also going to put the handle on. So come back down to where your handle is. Get it on your hook. So we're going to, this is our open end that we have on our hook. You're going to take 2 bands, the color of your takeout box, pull it through the first loop, first 2 loops on our handle, take your hook out, and take 2 more loops and pull them through the other side. So it looks like that. So then if we come down here, and if you kind of hold these out sideways, the bands that meet up in the center, those are going to go on the center pin, and then this will go on the right, and this one, the other side will go on the left. So first I'm just going to start by taking one side, putting that on, making sure that the end that comes out the middle, or the bands that come out on the middle side, are on the middle pin right here. So I'll grab the other bands and just make sure to put those right on top. So it should look like that. Then we'll come down around a little ways with 2 bands. This. She'll stop right here because we'll attach the other end of the handle. I want to turn this around so it's a little easier. We want to try not to twist this when we put it on, so make sure that it's nice and straight. And then what I'm going to do is down here in the cap band, there should be 4 bands, 2 on each side technically. I'm going to go into the side on the left with my hook And I'm going to snag these bands that I already laid down. If you didn't lay them down, that's fine, just pull them up through. I'm going to pull them up through, slide this down, put them back onto the pin. So now what we'll do is put 2 more bands. I'm just going to lay them right here on these pins. And now this time I'm going to come from the inside with my hook. Grab those bands that we dropped, pull them through. If you twist towards the kind of handle itself, then you can slide your hook through a little easier. And then put those onto the pin. So it should look fundamentally like the other side when you're done there. Like that. So now we can flip over the bottom 4 all the way around. Like so. Push your bands down. Now we're going to do a row all the way around with just 2 bands. Like so. So then flip over the bottom 4. All the way around. That. Push your bands down. Just going to pull up the center a little bit here so it's snagged on my pins. Then we're going to do another row round with just the 2 bands again. That. Again, flip the bottom 4. Like so. And you can push your bands down. So now what we're going to do is start doing the lid row, or the little flaps here. So what we need to do is make them first. So we're going to start with making one of the longer flaps and then just kind of rotate all the way around. Now we're going to do this. I'm going to come down to the other end of the loom down here. This is entirely double banded to give it kind of the sturdiness, so I'm going to start right here at the end, and we're going to zigzag until we have 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So across 4 pins. So zigzag up and back down, up and then down, up and down, like that. So 3 little triangles. Then we're going to make 2 little triangles up above it. Like that. Then we also are going to do a couple of dropped bands right here. Then you're going to get your hook, take 2 bands, wrap them around 1 time. Cat hair. And what we're going to do is go in through, grab one of those drop bands, pull them through what's on our hook, and put this back onto the pin. Then go back through your cap band, pull up the other bands from the other pin, put those back onto the pin, like that. And then we're going to loom this down. So I'm going to go in through this cap band that we created right here, grab the top 2 bands, and loom down. And go back into the same spot, loom the next ones down, and then come up to the other little cap band we made and do the same thing. Like that. And then we're going to go into each one of the 3 cap band areas here and loom them down one more time. Like that. Now before we take this off the loom, we actually want to puff these 2 pins right here. So let's take 2 bands, go in through all the bands there, pull up 2 bands, put them on your hook, and then put them onto the pin. And the same thing with the other middle one. Pull up 2 bands, both on the hook, and then puff them. Like that. And now while we have the room here, we're just going to make the one of the sides real quickly because they're pretty easy. That's all it is we're going to make a big triangle. So 2 bands up to a point, stuff running away, and then 2 bands up to a point, up to the same point, for a triangle. Then you're going to want a double cap band right here, wrapped around 1 time. Then we'll just loom out these spots, loom out these bands. Like that. So we'll just leave that there. Alright, so now we're going to start in the front. This right here translates, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have them in 1, 2, 3, 4 in the center of all of these pins. So how we're going to do that, so I'm going to take all of these off using my hook. Like this. And what I'm going to do is turn this so that it's, so it works for me. Like I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go from the left to the right. But if you are left-handed, you might want to go the other way. It's not a huge deal, we just need to get them on here. So what I'm going to do first is take 2 bands and pull them through the first 4 bands that are on my hook. And then these are going to go on the loom, starting right here. So it's attached. Now this is where it gets a little tricky because we can't come away from the loom now. So again, you need to put the bands down on the pin and pull them through. I kind of like to hold them. Take 2 bands and pull them through the next 4. They are separated pretty nicely, so you should be able to see them. Pull them through the next 4. And then these bands that we just pulled through are going to go across the pins. And just keep doing that for the rest of this side. So another band through the next 4 bands on your hook. Make sure you get a good grip on them, you don't want to lose anything. And I just have one more set to go. So like that. And now you can see those 4 bands are in the center of each one of the bands we put around. So the next one's a little bit easier. It's just the 2 to deal with. So take these ends off. Then again, we're going to go up here on the end. I'm going to pull, turn this so it's easier. Take the bands, pull them through the first 4 on my hook. And these are going to go onto the loom. And then again, 2 more bands through the last 4 on my hook. And these go on the other side. Like so. You can actually push these up towards the container to get them out of your way. So we need to do that one more time for the long side and the short side. So again, 2 bands in a zigzag here. Usually I just count to 6, makes it easy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to do the 2 little triangles up here. Like so. Drop 2 bands on the pins here. Then we're just going to set up for the one over here. It's just the big triangle. So 2 bands up there. These are all still double banded. Up to the point. And I'll go ahead and wrap around the cap band on this one. So put it on, wrap around one time. Then we'll grab 2 more bands. Put them on your hook, wrap it around one time. Come down to this one. grab one of the set of dropped bands, pull them through your hook, pull them through the bands on your hook, and then put them back on the pin, and go into the other side, onto the pin, then loom these down, just like we did before. Then going through the next 3, loom those out. Like so. Then don't forget to puff the middles. So these 2 pins bring up 2 bands. The bands already on the pin. Hook both ends and replace. Do the same thing down with this one. Right there. Then we'll go ahead and loom out the little one. Like so. So I'm going to do the long one first. So I'm going to get this on my hook again. So turn it however it's most comfortable for you to put them on. Grab 2 bands. Pull them through the first 4 bands on your hook, like that, on the pins. Grab 2 more bands, pull them through the next 4 that are on your hook, put those on the pins. Next 2 bands through the 4 bands next on your hook. Like that, and then the last 2 for this one. Pull through. And on the pins. So like that again. I'm just going to flip this up so it's out of my way. And then grab the other, or the last ones here for the short side. So 2 bands through the first 4 on your hook. Right here. Oops. Stay on. There we go. Like that. And then 2 more. On the hook. On the pin. So you should have basically made an entire row around now with the flaps connected in between the pins. So now what we're going to do is on the corners only, we're going to flip the bottom 4. So flip those over on just the corners. Like that. And then what we're going to do is actually come back to the 4 corners and we're going to reduce them. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to grab the top 2 bands. They're coming from the lower pin, so I'm going to bring them over to the top pin. and the other two bands on the pin are going to come down. Let's go ahead and push stuff down. Same thing down here. Grab the top two bands. They're coming from the lower pin, so they're going to go up. And the other ones will come down. And over here we have top two bands are coming from the lower one, so they're going to go up. The one above and the ones on the bottom will come down. And this last corner up here, top two bands are coming from the top pin, so they're going to come down, and the other ones will go up like that. So we have reduced the four corners. Push your bands down. So now we're going to flip over everything except for the top two bands. So I'll start here. First I'm just going to flip over the bottom four. And grab the next bottom ones here. We just want to leave the top two bands all the way around. Just keep going around. So on some of the pins, your reducing bands will actually be your top bands. Gets a little squishy on the sides. Like so. So you should only have two bands left on every pin around. So be careful. There isn't much holding it on. So push those down. And I'm going to start right here on the side. Grab. I'm also covering these over here a little bit with my fingers, so hopefully they won't pop off. Or caution. I'm going to hook this, go in through the next one over, make a slip knot, so pull that band through what was on my hook, and go in through the next one. Now pull the ones that are near my hook through the ones that are already on my hook. Take your time. You definitely don't want to lose it now. I'm going to have to turn my loom. And just keep going all the way around. Until the last one. Then these two, I'm just going to take a band, pull it through. I'm not really going to slip stitch them together, just gives a little bit more room up top. So like so. So then you want to stretch this out. I'm actually going to flip this inside out so that I can weave in my tail nicely. So I'm just going to pick some bands to pull my tail through. Kind of looks a little weird on the other side, so it's not really a reversible design. I'm just going to pull my tail down. Doesn't have to be perfect because it hides on the inside. Flip it back to the right side. Like so. Now to get, if you have any issues with it not looking quite as boxy as you like, what you do is on the corners where we have, you can see I have kind of bumps here from the dropped bands or the puffing that we did. Going up that same row, if you grab these bands and pull them out, I usually kind of squeeze it, pull them out, all the way up to the edge. And don't forget the very bottom puffing band. That will help to square it up on the bottom. Just be careful when you squeeze now that you don't unsqueeze what you just did. Unsqueeze, that you don't squeeze what you just did. Yeah. And do the same thing on the back ones. And the last corner here. So that's pretty nice and square. Might use a little more tweaking. And like I said, this design, you can kind of bring these all together and close it, kind of like the boxes close already, like so. With the handle, if you want to square it off, I basically just counted 10. So starting at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. And then right between those, I adjusted the bands so that they would square off better. Like so. Do the same thing from the other side. And you may have to adjust that. I think I twisted it, but fix that so it's square, or just eyeball it. Like so. So now we want to talk about the filling and the chopsticks, and then it will be all done. It's kind of cute in the purpley color. Alright, so like I said earlier with the chopsticks, in my original ones I used kind of cheaper bands, just kind of like the kind of more wood color that they had, but they were really kind of thin bands, so I actually used 2 bands to double them to make the chopstick. These are Rainbow Loom bands, the gold jelly, and they are a little thinner, but when I doubled it seemed like they were really big, so it's kind of be up to you. I made them 15 long, but it's the same way that we made the handle. Just take a band, put it on your hook, wrap it around one time, grab both, wrap it around again, and then just pull up what would essentially be 15 bands, or 14 more, and then tie it off. 14, and then 15 I'm going to still double it, pull it through both ends of my hook, and then just do a slip knot. Like so. So those will be my chopsticks. And then for the little noodles inside, I just kind of grab some different colors, took a band, put it on my hook, and took another band, pulled it through, both ends on my hook, made a slip knot, did that a couple times, not really caring if they get twisted because it kind of adds to the noodly effect of it. And then if I wanted to add like what I call a pea or a carrot or whatever, take a band, put it on the hook, wrap it around one time, and then again, just like the wrapped eye bands. Then I take another band for the noodles and pull it through everything on my hook, both ends on, and do that slip stitch. So now that little treat is stuck on there. I just did that a few times till it was enough to kind of close the opening of the box. Nothing super special, but I thought that it looked cute that way, so. And simple. Simple's good at times. Do a couple more here. Of course, you can get creative and make your own little noodles, or whatever you want to put in there. I didn't want to specifically fill it up because I think it'd be cuter just to be able to... That's not what I wanted. Stop talking. Can't remember what I'm saying. It'd be easier to just kind of use your own thing, so. Then when you get to where you want to be, just make sure you pull it tight. Pull another one through. Pull tight. So I have this nice long chain of goodiness. It's not really a word, but and let's take the chopsticks. I'll grab a band and I'll just kind of tie them up. Like that. Put those in there. And then take my noodles and put those in. Try not to shove all of my veggies down in. So, I hope you think it's super cute. I'm really loving it. I think it turned out adorable. Like I said, I was super excited. I think they look super cute. I'm in love. Totally. But I want to thank you for watching. I definitely appreciate it. I hope that you enjoy these. I just can't say it. They're super cute. They're adorable. I love them. If you make some of these, I would definitely love to see them on my Instagram page, which is at Crafting Fantastic, or on my Facebook, which is feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. There's a link below the video. And then, of course, if you subscribe to my channel here, Feelinspiffy, then you can see when I come out with new designs for different things. I definitely appreciate you guys watching, and I know I've said it a lot because I can, but I know it's getting busier, and I definitely see that you guys like to loom a lot on the weekend, which is awesome, and I'm trying to get things out more towards the weekend so that you have that time, and then also taking account that the weekend starts earlier for people across the world, and it's getting crazy, but trying to do the best I can. I hope that you enjoy these. I definitely want to see them. But thank you for watching, and I'll have more for you soon.